Stand by, about to go live onto the YouTube. See what they do, setting it up. We are on YouTube, kids. And 3, 2. And I'm not wearing my GH shirt. I'm still wearing my Mandalorian shirt, kids. I forgot to take it off. Hi, welcome to GH Mini Spotlight and Recap for the week of December 7th through 11th, 2020 on JLJ Media. I'm James Lott Jr. Good night. Okay. We are here to talk about our show this week on General Hospital, everything that happened in Port Charles. And of course, wearing her sombrero in honor of Curtis and Jordan's Spanish leftover Thanksgiving anniversary, Lacretia Lyon. That's right, girl.
This is a family heirloom, as my brother put it. It's the hat that we put on when we get really drunk and still have no idea the original place it came from.
Oh my God,
but so cheers.
Fun. Cheers. And then, of course, we got the man not wearing a hat this time. Normally, he wears a hat and she doesn't.
That's true.
It's Frank Moran. Hi, Frank.
Oh, hi, guys. Oh, look at this. James, you're still underneath the Disney family, so that shirt still is fine. You know.
That's true. Oh my God, Frank,
yeah.
I didn't know that. That's right. Oh my goodness, I didn't even think about that part. Yeah, I am part of the Disney family still. Disney.com owns General Hospital on that ABC. So, yes, thank you. So we're going to continue this. I have my Mandalorian cup. I'm doing everything. I mean, everything's just Mandalorian. You can check out that after show on JLJ Media. Okay, so this week a lot happened. We did have some Peter and Maxie. Let's talk about them this week, which of course is going to be happy. Talk about them, but there are a lot of things that went down. Overall, what do you think about this week? Overall, Frank, what do you think about this week overall?
Lots of stupidity in several storylines, but I did like at least some forward progress in the Franco / Liesel storyline a little bit, but also, just a crazy turn for the doctor that's been hanging out with Liesel, just from zero to nutso in like 2 episodes. So, all right, see you later. I can see maybe why the actor that had first been playing him said, "I'm good. I don't need to come back if this is where you're taking this character.
Yes,
I'll see you later."
It was an interesting turn. Lacretia, what were your overall thoughts?
Well, I did appreciate the bookend. We had a good Valentine stuff on Monday, perfect Nicholas stuff on Friday. Really enjoyed that, especially because I was wondering with Franco going to Switzerland with Scotty, were we going to get to see stuff? And boy, did we. And it was fun. Like we say, the 180 with the doctor being super rapey and now dead. Interesting take. I do see why Christopher Cousins wasn't there. Maybe he was just like, "Nah, I'm good. You can
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good."
But I mean, I have champagne in my margarita glass because of other events that transpired, and I have my Petty Betty hat on today.
Great. Shady Sunday here on JLJ Media. Yes, they love the hat, Lacretia. They love the hat. We're talking about that strange moment also. I might have some comments about that. But yeah, so thank you. And so thank you for tuning in. I just want to again say to everybody, make sure you hit the like button on the little video. You guys are coming in right now. See, it's starting to populate. Thanks for making this my #1 show on the network. They like us, kids. They like us, Frank and Lacretia. They like us. They really like us. This is my #1 show on the network. Except last week, the lesbians win, and that was #1 show of the week on YNR. But this one still is #2. So it's like, but overall, you guys make this the #1 show of all my shows on my network. That's why we're here. We'll be here next week, then taking a break, and we're back in January. So I'm going to tell you that. So we'll be here this week and next week. Disney Days just ended their year. They had their end ceremony, so they ended their year. They're done for the year. Bold Breakdown, Bold and Beautiful. We had Lawrence St. Victor on. We love him. Plays Carter. We had a wonderful talk with him. That's out right now on JLJ Media. And of course, YNR is out right now too. And Daytime Today is out. So, okay. Best scene, Lauren. We're going to talk about that, Lauren Sire. So, actually, I want to kind of get some of the little small stuff out the way. Let's get the little small things out the way. Frank, we meet Violet. Okay.
Yeah. She is adorable. She is the cutest little kid ever.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Yeah. And I really enjoy liking to see Michael Easton play a dad, because that's something that we've seen him in so many different roles, even on this show alone. but we never get to see him play the zaddy parts, and this is a much needed thing for a lot of us ladies here. Is the adorable dad Michael Easton role.
I love Michael Easton. I just love him. He's great.
Yeah.
Then we had Willow, Chase, Michael, Sasha. Each configuration. We had each little grouping. We care.
I do like that Willow's like, I don't know what the deal is, Chase, Michael, whatever. But I like that Michael pretty much said like, oh, Sasha, take care, see you later. I mean, he really didn't offer any chance of like a reconciliation. It's like, no, thanks, whatever, cool, peace out, good luck with you.
How do I say this? This storyline is unbelievable on many points, but the least believable part is you got like a freaking 10 in Sasha, and she's not just hot, she's also not really a pain in the ass, like seems pretty cool. Yeah. But oh no, both of these guys are fighting over Willow. I mean, she's but talk about baggage. That girl's got some baggage, and she a little off. And then there's the baby situation. Yeah, I'm not really understanding the logic here, but again, this is a show, a soap, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess doing a quadrangle maybe is not as sustainable as doing the triangle. So I guess you spin Sasha off with Brando and get them two paired together, which I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I don't know how excited I am about a Chase Michael thing, because it's like two good guys kind of vying for the girl. There's not like the bad boy and the good guy kind of vying. So you can see they're drawing out different facets of that character. They're pretty much drawing out the same facets of Willow.
I only want Chase and Michael. Let's face it. Like that is the relationship there. Sorry, Willow, but I mean, I think we'd all agree that Chase and Michael would make the cuter couple. And yeah, like we say, it's just like, okay, we got two good guys, both for the same thing with Willow, and yeah, like there's really no story there. It's not really a triangle.
Daisy Flower 40 said Willow is the heroine in the story. Of course, she's the heroine. There's always a good girl in the story.
Yeah, but is it Willow? I mean, like, yes, Sasha's doing drugs, but Sasha's doing drugs because, like, she gave up Michael. Like it's one of those things that I get that that's what they want us to believe, but let's face it, Sasha is no worse than Willow. Like, I mean, if anyone's the heroine of the story, in the reality is Sasha and Chase gave up their own happiness for these two, and Wiley. They're the ones that sacrificed. Michael and Willow didn't sacrifice. So I get that may be what they want us to say, but let's face it, that's not really the reality of the situation in the context of the show.
I gotta agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why it's dumb. Like, I mean, that's why it's dumb.
You were like, Willow's boring.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good girl. So she's supposed to not be anything exciting. She's a good girl. That's what they always have, a good girl. But I think they did something wrong.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Georgie and Emily weren't boring, and they were good girls. I mean, even good girl Liz has never been the boring part. I mean, yeah, there's bad girl Liz time too, but yeah, I mean, or what about Robin? That's sort of the thing, is like the good girl doesn't have to be boring. But I guess, I mean, you look at like Lola on Y&R, if you watch that one. Yeah, that's a terrible character too. Just, I mean, Willow's actually better than Lola, so I do give her credit there. But
she's boring too. Moran Wallace, Michael and Chase equals Mace or a Chico?
Mace.
Okay, Mace. I think Mace.
Like all up in Julian's face, Mace.
Yes, Mace. No, but I would say there's always a good girl. They have to. I think the problem was they paired her with a good guy, and that's kind of boring. A lot of times they pair him with somebody almost opposite. That makes it more exciting. But I'm liking Brando and Sasha. I'm like hoping that those two get together. I'm liking them. Oh, Robin was judgmental, so she had an edge. That's what Daisy Flower 40 says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like,
and so was Georgie a little bit too, but that was why we liked him. I mean, Georgie was like Lulu ho.
Yeah, exactly. They're judgmental, so they had a little thing. But no, I just think that it's I just don't really care. I mean, at this point, now that Willow's like, well, we're not platonic friends anymore with Michael, and we have a Sunday. I mean, I don't care. I'm like, put Brando with Sasha, keep keep Willow and Michael together, fly the team together, and have Chase go with Brooklyn. I'm done.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is Willow and Michael sort of, I like them together because that's when I can play on my phone. And like that is the thing is I don't really, I mean, they can be there taking care of Wiley in the Quartermain mansion. Because they were so front burner for so long, it's been nice to see them just occasionally. And I hope they keep with that for a little bit because yeah, they took up way too much screen time. I mean, that's part of the reason why a lot of us don't like Willow. It's not so, I mean, because the actress is great, but she was in every story for the longest time. And to me, especially as a longtime viewer, that will always irk viewers that are like, well, where's my favorite characters? Why do we have Willow instead of Lucy? Or why do we have Willow instead of this scene with Liz or whatever? And now that they're not doing that, I can take her. But yeah, her and Michael, they kind of work because phone time.
Michael B goes, Willow slept with Michael. She's going to die anyway. Like, Shady Sunday.
Well, there's not much with that character. I mean, yeah, they've stripped away the teaching side, anything with the nursing thing that she was dabbling in. So all you have is that she's married to Michael and she's obsessed about Wiley. But I mean, at least Michael has got the Corinthoses, he's got the Quartermains, he's got other things about his character, other people he can have scenes with that can he can be a support in another storyline or at least do other stuff. Willow, I mean, she's got nobody now other than Michael and Wiley. I mean, she doesn't. So I don't know, like what Willow's got going for her in terms of having scenes independent of Michael that could still be interesting. And because the ones with Michael aren't interesting.
I'm not fine with that.
I agree with that, Wally. Another kind of small tidbit story they're trying to make some movement on. The teens CSI Taggart. Oh, Frank, what are you thinking there? I heard an ugh already.
What I love is that it just epiphany. You know, eagle eyeing that computer from across the way. What is that? Just the inner of those kids to play it cool. The storyline so dumb. At least I like that. At least Epiphany was like figuring out what's going on, so she's able to start talking to Jordan. So, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to write it so that the reveal comes at the most inconvenient time for everybody. That Trina runs face to face with Taggart. But
well, you saw Jordan go. I know he's back in town, so trying to play it off. I mean, I don't know what's going on there. So I don't roller skate Kate, I'm with you. I understand this whole Taggart thing either. I'm like, yeah. It's kind of like either reveal him or keep him hidden. I mean, I love reality, my buddy, but I'm just like, what are we doing with him? Like, what's going on? Everybody's it's a little too simple.
How do I say this? There's a lot of stuff that I feel like they started up and they planned on doing, but I think they had to do some rewrites and big things with the explosion. That sort of I think came like at last minute, and they had to write that in. So stuff like Taggart and Jackie Templeton, and then Nina's daughter had to kind of be put on hold because that's what it feels like. That all that was like supposed to be solved, but then they had to do this other thing and we're having to deal with that, but then we'll get back to all these. And yeah, they just sort of have to fill in where they can. And it's frustrating because that was a good storyline and I get why they had to do it. But yeah, we've wanted some of these stories to end forever.
Well, where is Jackie?
Yeah. Well, I saw like a little tidbit of her in a spoiler, I think, that was just, like a few words. So I do feel like we're going to see her in the next couple of weeks. But I had heard that Kim Delaney was off filming something else briefly. So that may have been part of it, too. But I do like that it looks like we're going to have her involved with Robert and a lot of stuff. And maybe they'll wrap up some of the Peter nonsense.
Yeah, but I feel like this shows me just how incapable Cyrus is as a mob boss or some kind of drug dealing boss, where his only way to figure out if Taggart's alive and try to locate him is to go to like a 17/18-year-old girl and say, see if you can find your dad that you already think is dead. And then we'll just follow you. And then when we see him, we'll get him. Like that's your big plan? That's your big plan? Really? Oh, okay.
John says Kim Delaney was filming a Lifetime film.
Okay, so that was true. Yeah.
That makes sense. That's what I mean.
Yeah, I did laugh because I feel like Cyrus was way more afraid of Trina than a lot of the other people who come at him, and that was funny because I do get it. Like Trina's fierce. I love this, and this is the thing is I love the teen scene. Joss, Cam, Trina, they're all great. I mean, I enjoyed the. Oh no, this is my laptop, not my mom's. Like, Cam's just adorable, and I like that they didn't mess things up by having them both like him. He was like, I like both of them too, but we're friends. So what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty much, at least for right now, it's just kind of gone back to what it was, pre getting kidnapped by Cyrus's goons. But I also think Kim Delaney was off filming the sequel to Recipe for Seduction, right? Isn't that correct?
I give you told James,
yeah.
also get an edible, James. Sit down and watch it. You couldn't pay me to watch Mario Lopez as a sexy Colonel Sanders.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it.
I drank it all in today. I drank it all.
Oh, you did, right? Yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me. I needed all that hot Harlan Sanders backstory. So basically, all you need to know is that what we find out in the course of this, as the Garibaldis there are people that have been chasing the Colonel for all these years, and that's who George Hamilton Sanders' version was hiding from when he went to Max's apartment. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And that's me making a tremendous leap. But I figured this is all canon. This is all canon.
So bad. It's so bad. So bad.
But I love
Mario get the recipe from Maxie? That's so funny. Is Mario get the recipe from Maxie? I don't know. If he showed up, it could be kind of funny.
That would be.
It's bonkers. It's 15 minutes and it's bonkers.
Really?
I'll have to find that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll watch it a little bit. Maybe I'll just for shits and giggles. Maybe I'll watch it.
It is on demand. You can watch it at pleasure. It's great. It's so cheesy. It's
I'm really glad that Michael E. Knight's character is turning out to be Cyrus and possibly Laura's brother. But if that wasn't going to be his arc, I wish it would have been he was using that stupid accent because he's here to steal that recipe from Maxie. And this is why, guys, like both Kirsten Storms and Emmy Ryland deserve a fucking Emmy for that whole thing, and they didn't get him. That's bullshit. I'm sorry. Like they sold that crap.
And look what GH did to Emily.
I know.
Get out of here.
Oh yeah, she was like out and done, but they're dragging out the other one. Like, what is up with this? I mean, I don't think I've ever cheered on a character I once really loved to death so hard. It's just been so bad and drug out. Like
this was interesting. So we got good old Julian drove to New York to go find Kim Nero.
Yes, Kim.
Yeah.
We're like, what? I'm like, what?
She's busy killing it on Days of Our Lives.
Yes,
like,
yes. Yes. But see, wait a minute, you guys. Didn't she like when she left? That was it. She didn't want to talk to him, right? Wasn't she like done with him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But I guess he was. I mean, maybe trying to make amends before he.
Julian doesn't have a lot of friends.
But what was weird is that. So we have the nanny saying that, oh hey Kim, the guy you warned me about is here. He doesn't know this is his baby. I was like, oh, I feel like that's not the exciting option to make it Julian's baby because we know he's going off the show. I really thought it was going to be Franco/Drew's baby.
Everybody saying Drew. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is because the name and everything. Because to me, at first, I was like, is this seriously Julian's baby? I was watching with my mom and my grandma, and I was just like, this is some bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Like, Emmy gets off like that, and is Lulu, and we're dragging this crap out. Julian's got another kid. These mops are so fertile. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Drew Co. Never mind. It's got to be his kid because there's got to be some reason they drug out this Julian crap and like did the whole this. I hope there's a reason. I hope this comes because let's face it, Franco doesn't have any kids, so that's at least interesting. And if they could get Tamara Braun back and give her material like they are at Days, that would be great.
Yeah, although I mean, who knows if they'll get her back? But I mean, I'd be fine for a recast too if they were going to. They're going to do it over, but it feels like if you're going to, whether it's Julian, if it's Julian, it's a stupid idea. If it really is, Franco Drew baby, then I feel like you need to recast that character because then what's the point otherwise of introducing that little baby?
everyone thinks it's Draco's baby. So
Yeah.
but
Thank God.
But Lacretia, Daisy Flower 40 says, no, don't give Franco a baby. Why not?
Yeah, why?
Look at no
Because
kid.
Franco has no kids and he's a better parent than Jason. I mean, just saying. I mean,
Yeah.
he's raising Jason's
Maybe
son, Jake. Then, guys, this isn't even the start of the shade, but
I mean, that would be interesting because I mean, Franco said many times that he didn't want to have kids because of messed up life, and now he'd be having a kid that also really, I mean, is his biologically, but not really is, you know, because
and that's interesting.
It wasn't him when he was conceived, so that would be like, how do you feel about having a child that you're kind of biologically related to, but maybe not necessarily emotionally related to?
Well, and that's what makes it interesting, and that could be something for, because that's the thing is, a stable couple like Frizz has to deal with these sorts of obstacles, like brain tumors and, Franco's random baby out there from when he was Drew, because at least like we always saw, Elizabeth understood that wasn't him and was never holding that against him. Even now, that's not who she is. And she has, 3 kids that Franco's parented. It would be interesting to see how that comes up in the other way.
Yeah. They want to know. So she's drinking champagne, Rashonda.
Yes.
Champagne. That's what Lacretia drinking. Champagne. Margarita glass.
I'm always drinking.
Oh, she's always drinking. No, but it's just I don't know about that. I don't know what to say about that. But I do want to mention, because it was part of this thing. Let's see, I don't want to miss it. We'll get to that later. Okay. So we did a little small thing because she's wearing the hat and drinking out of the thing. Is they decided to do a Mexican themed leftover Thanksgiving celebration anniversary for Curtis and Jordan.
Wow.
I was like,
one of my least favorite tropes, because I don't think that it doesn't happen. I feel like it's stupid. It's where Curtis goes, "Oh, I'd forgotten it was Thanksgiving." No. He forgets it's Thanksgiving. Come on.
Hello.
You might not be able to enjoy the day in itself, but you don't forget Thanksgiving. Like, come on. Oh.
Yeah, with all that going on.
I heard the Mexican music, and then I was like, what in the mariachi is going on here? And then I was like, oh, and all of a sudden he turned, and even Curtis was kind of like, what is going on here? Then the light comes up a little bit, and she's just like doing her thing. She's like, hola. I'm like, hola. I'm like, what are you talking? You guys aren't Hispanic.
I feel like it's only when you think about it, it becomes weird. Because when GH left, it was back in May, and then they picked up again. Was it in August? But you say they lost like 3 months, but the show doesn't acknowledge that at all. It picked up right where it left off. So we've like collapsed. Somehow time has just rapidly just collapsed to where we went from May to now we're in November. And with nary, like, there was no jumps in time, no nothing. It is just weird how this whole year has just collapsed rapidly in Port Charles.
Well, at least,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, at least that's sort of fitting for 2020 because time is just, crazy. It feels like March was last month, but also days go by. So I'm willing to do that.
I don't know. I was like, Michael B says Black people do not forget Thanksgiving. That's right, Michael.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, but the food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, time. Look what's come of me. Yeah.
I feel like these scenes are only, like we've talked about in the past, that I dislike because it paints up making Curtis look like more like a chump for when the eventual reveal of, oh yeah, I have one big lie I've never told you, and that's Taggart's alive.
Yeah.
Comes out. Oh baby, you're the best, and oh my gosh, we're so in love. And now I'm supposed to feel like really heart-wrenched when Jordan's got to go, whoops, I forgot to tell you this really important thing.
I know. What's funny because he'll be off with Laura. I want to go to that storyline right now.
I like that.
That was a guy. I was like at that gun range. Laura's like, let me show you what Laura Vining Weber or writing Weber, Baldwin, Spencer. I mean, let me show you what I've done over the last 40 years. And I love it. When she's like, and I was thinking of you. Like that. I have to visualize my target while I'm doing this. And but see, Homeboy is so creepy. He was enjoying it.
Oh yeah,
he loved it. He loved every second of her fight. So I asked about her past and stuff. He was totally thinking. So I'm like, so that's his sister, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, yeah, and that's interesting. And I will say that I really enjoyed the scenes with Cyrus and Laura. Like, that was so good. Like, her at the gun range and all of that. Like, and that's why I think Jeff Kober is such a good actor. I like that we're fleshing this out and having him play with Jeannie, because this is really believable that they're brother and sister.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like we talked about in the past, and even I brought up when you've got like the Zakaras, I mean, you kind of build up a family and bring them in if you know you're going to keep these characters around for a while. And this is kind of a different tactic where you find out that, oh, wait, no, they already got an established family within Port Charles. We're just going to go and introduce you like the people you already know, and they're really family members. So,
and go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, no. And so, yeah, I'm just curious to see once this whole reveal happens. I mean, I feel like it indicates that Cyrus is not going to be around just for a little bit of time. I feel like there's definitely some story to be mined out long term.
And same thing with Michael Knight. Yeah, like that it looks like they've solidified him. They've given him something to do and something interesting. And I like that he just pretty well confessed some of it to Sonny. So at first I thought he was maybe the mastermind. And then I'm like, well, maybe not.
So Martin and Cyrus, after Jason and Sonny got out of him, are brothers. Cyrus changed his name, last name. And then Martin went to him later to help with their mother with medical bills. And he turned an eye this way, not asking where the money came from. So they're brothers. Okay, they're Grays. He's a Gray. So clearly, as he kept trying to bring up, like, tell me about how you grew up. Tell me about your past. Tell me, and when he said, I was a child with a family once.
I didn't just come out of nowhere.
But I thought it was those are all telling words. Like he's trying, and she wasn't budging. She was just like not having it. She was like, no, MFR, I'm not having it. I don't like you. You hurt my daughter Lulu, probably. You're probably behind it. So there's a whole, he is behind it, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing there. And I think it'll be interesting to see if all three of them are siblings. That'd be a trip. That'd be a trip. So Curtis and Laura going on a road trip again. I love them together. We can look for Florence Gray. So I'm very excited about that.
I'm curious because I feel like I don't know how Cyrus necessarily feels about Lulu being hurt in this. I mean, I know his goal is to kill Jason, but with Lulu impacted about this, I mean, he talks to Laura about all this stuff, but I'd be curious. I don't know if I want scenes of him, just even by himself, kind of figuring out showing us how he feels about this. I don't know if I want that or not. Or I don't know if it's needed. Do you feel like what you've seen so far is enough to kind of like make you kind of feel like Cyrus has some humanity within him?
I do feel like they've shown him seem genuinely caring where Laura and Lulu are concerned in his own creepy way. I don't feel like he's all bad, and we've kind of seen that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what they do with these characters. They're not all bad, but I mean, he did put this in motion.
Michael B is saying, I wonder if the guy, somebody pulling the strings, is the same one that has Holly. Remember, Holly's being captive still. So Holly's out there. Is there a question? People are thinking Jerry Jacks.
Oh, that'd be great.
So they're wondering what's, and because that'll give Jack something to do. We were just talking about last week. Jack's a lame duck right now. So it's kind of like, where I kind of thinking with a word. That would give him some kind of story. His brother came back. So I just wonder. I don't know. I wonder.
Yeah, I feel like that the Holly story, I feel like is going to be on the back burner for a while. At least it feels like to me. Until the world kind of reaches a little bit more sense of semi-normalcy. The vaccine thing, and production can kind of resume kind of how it used to be.
Yeah, right now they just cast Linda Dano, who's the Emmy winner from the world, as the latest Vivian on Days of Our Lives, and much of it's because Louise Sorel lives in New York.
Oh yeah.
They're not traveling. So folks, there are some travel things, especially if you're right now, LA, it's fucked. There's another word for it. It's fucked. With California, it's fucked. We're fucked out here. COVID's crazy. Everything's shutting down. So they have to find the actors who live in these areas that live nearby. I was trying to explain to them that Jess Walton lives in Oregon from YNR.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just really, because when you come here, you got quarantine for 14 days. It's a whole thing you have to do when you come to California. I don't know how it's in other states, but in California and LA, it's really bad. So I think a lot of the choices are being put on hold because of that stuff.
Yeah. And that is a huge part of it, because so many of the actors on the soaps are not LA local because they don't make that much money. I mean, it's become quite a privilege to live in LA. I mean, and we'll see if that changes since, you guys are shut down, but here in Texas, everything's pretty well business as usual. You wear a mask, but everything's open. So it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, and you'll see a lot of that. That's why you probably have a lot of temp recasts or.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, it's hard living in LA. Period. Like, I can't imagine. I mean, luckily I'm lucky in a cute little house that I own, but it's not easy living in LA. It's expensive.
Yeah.
That's why I have to start selling my body on the streets or something. Like, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. No, Frank, we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. That's crazy. The actress that plays Willow's mother is available due to COVID-19 restrictions in Canada.
No.
Oh yeah, so I mean, there's a lot going on right now. That's Krista Gary said that. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes that they're trying to work with. And most of the actors if you guys don't know this out there, they usually get tested every day, just about, if they're on every day. The temperature taken, they're in separate rooms, there's no hair and makeup anymore, they're dressing themselves. They're doing everything they can to like do this. And Bone Bruce is the only one that has the 8 feet rule. The other soaps aren't doing that. Bold Beautiful does the 8 feet rule. So you watch their show, everyone's like, "Hi, I love you." It's a little crazy, but they're doing what they can for that show. So they do what they can. Why travel? Period. Yeah, no, I know. So I'm excited to see what happens to the whole Gray family. I think they're digging into history. They mentioned David Hamilton. I'm all about it. Speaking of that, I will go into the storyline bugs too. I gotta mention it, of course, because there may be some fans somewhere, I guess, like the storyline.
Mm-hmm.
The double wedding. We should have one. Anna's like, "No, bitches, I don't want a double wedding." I started laughing. I thought she was not down for it. And then later, when Homeboy's like, "Sure, I guess we could do it," because we used Anna once, and I was like, "Oh, he's just a bad guy." That made me laugh. Actually, the whole
that was a good scene.
Made me laugh. That whole thing made me laugh. That Anna's not bored. She didn't want a double wedding.
Well, yeah, why would she?
Who would want that? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Maxie, there's that fine line with Maxie when you're writing that character. When she gets to be like she is in moments like this double wedding, she's more oblivious than anything to not pick up on just basic social cues. You're like, "Oh yeah, she's not really vibing on this. All right, maybe I'll just let it die." Oh, that's the annoying version of Maxie. So, and I also thought it was clunky the way that scene with Anna and Finn ends, where maybe it was supposed to be comedic, but the delivery just made it seem like Anna was just so angry at Finn, and it's all your fault.
Funny.
Like, geez, all right, come on, Anna. You're supposed to be able to say these things quickly instead of like, "Oh, I got to tell you something." And it's always with soaps. There's always something that comes up right at that opportune moment, just when somebody's about to tell them something important. I gotta go. I'm gonna tell you.
If I could care less about these weddings, I don't know what that would look like, because I care so little at this point. I don't even know how I could care even less. But if I could care even less.
Yeah, no, because like I was not, when Finn and Anna decided, "Hey, let's just do something quick, just us, let's get it done." I'm like, cool, all right, if you're gonna move forward with that with these characters, then fine. But I had very little investment on it, and the way to get me less invested was to all of a sudden have Peter and Max and go, "Yeah, let's just join them."
So if you're a Peter August fan like Anthony Gallups, then hopefully this is good. Hope you're enjoying it. Hope it's enjoyable for you.
Well, I can only hope that if the benefit of maybe doing the double wedding is that it shows that this storyline, because you feel like at the wedding, that's when everything's got to be revealed.
Nobody wants any of these to happen. So it honestly, I feel bad for Anna and Finn. Obviously, that dude's in for a real problem here. But let's face it, this gets two things out of the way that we don't want to happen, and it'll probably blow up both of them right there. So great. And again, Finn and Anna are cute sometimes, but it's just one of those things that Anna and Valentine want that way more. We got to get him away from Nina. And then Finn, let's bring Hayden back. Let's quit screwing around.
No, I don't know. I mean, I feel like you can tell with some relationships on GH that where the producers and the writers want you to get invested in them and really want you to care. And I feel like this is not one that they and maybe at the beginning they wanted you to, but I feel like ever since Finola went on that long break, I feel like since then they really checked out on having anybody really wanting the audience to really care about this relationship. Because I sadly I don't.
I agree.
No.
Okay. I talked about it a little bit. That's all I want to talk about. Okay. But we have Valentine calling Anna to reconnect with Dante, which I almost forgot they were friends. They worked together in the forest. I totally forgot about that a long time ago, to reconnect with Dante for larger purposes, of course, because he had to talk with Dante too. It was all kind of like, what's going on? Who's doing what? So I thought that's interesting. Sounds very interesting.
I hate to say it, but I was actually very disappointed in Valentine in that Dante scene because he just left out half a beer there. It was like, dude, party foul, not cool. But then he made up for it by being like, oh, I'm concerned. I'm only going to talk to Anna. Don't tell anybody else. He is, Rocco's dad, and we're trying to make this work. And to me, we've seen a real maturity in Valentine, because to me, that he could have easily used this opportunity to, seize the day, but he didn't want to. He doesn't have a problem with Dante, and he was kind of trying to break the barrier, really work out. Because again, that was one of the things that Charlotte said, was she was going to be a good big sister to Rocco and really wanted that. And he is putting his kid first. And it was nice of him to go to Anna, because I remember Anna and Dante, that was one of my favorite relationships, platonic ones on the show. It was nice. She cared about him.
They think the wedding will happen. It'll be Peter will find out she's not his mom. Alex will come back and stop it, and Dante will try to kill Peter. That's the predictions.
Well, let's hope. What I did like is that the way that Anna just happens, she's trying to find Dante, I suppose, but happens just to run into him in the stairwell of GH. If you're at a hospital, you're probably just going to use the elevator.
Right.
I mean, maybe the personnel. Yeah. Somebody that just is really trying to be a recluse for a moment and make a personal phone call like Dante is going to use the stairwell, but anybody else is pretty much just going to use the elevator. So when Anna just happens to run into him in the stairwell, I'm like, ugh, come on, this is awkward.
Yeah.
But I did like when she reaches out to him at the coffee shop and he pulls away, just shrinks.
Yeah.
Don't touch me, Anna. Don't touch me.
Touch me. Well, we also have couple of big things that went down, and I will start with the one that will probably make Frank and Lacretia happy.
Please, James, don't act like you ain't happy too.
I'm not happy. Jay Sam has broken up. Where's my bell?
Yeah.
Jay Sam has left the building.
I couldn't believe when they started playing the song during the breakup, and then they stopped, and then it came back and they started playing it again. I was like, oh my God, somewhere, just like when they would play My Hero at the Stars game and Mike Madonna would cry no matter where he was at. This was like, I bet Frank is ugging as soon as they play that, because Frank doesn't cry.
What I wanted for that is, as that song was playing, for somebody to stab that song. And then I could hear its death throes. But that did not happen.
That happened. But they had a lot of Danny. And then, well, not really, a lot of Danny. She got tired of all the shenanigans. Sam was like, get out, please don't come back. Everybody's crying. But to me, all that, I don't care about all that stuff, but I'm sure folks do. JSM fans, I'm sorry, it's your stuff. But this interesting scene to me was Elizabeth and Sam.
Yeah.
That scene to me was worth the weight in gold compared to all the other stuff, because these two have always been at it back and forth, rivals forever, and they came to a mutual agreement.
Yeah, my favorite part of that, because I'm petty Betty tonight, was like Sam being like, I always admired what you did with Jake. And it was just like, because how do I say this? Like, and trust me, I was on Sam's side during the Drew bit when he was Jake. And as most people would know, because that, again, it was post Niz affair with JJ's Lucky. Like, Liz was not my favorite person. And it really wasn't a good storyline for her. But when Liz finally broke away from Jason then, and when it wasn't even Jason, and then got with someone like Franco, Liz has become one of the best characters as she was before Jason. And I don't think Sam would have the same results, but it was nice to see that acknowledgement that y'all's issues have to do with Jason. And how do I say this sometimes? It's not necessarily Jason's fault, okay? Women love to blame the man in the situation, but it is your fault for getting that wrapped up in him. And I at least like that Sam is starting to see that she was pathetic. And that was sort of that moment. It's like, yeah, because Liz was pathetic and you gave her crap then, but you were worse than her at any point. So, again, give credit where credit is due. But yeah, as a petty Betty, I enjoyed that very much.
It was interesting, the conversation with Sonny and Jason while they're in New York trying to find Julian. I feel like Jason was just being a little melodramatic in the sense where he's getting it with Sonny and Mike leaving him, but that totally different situation. And Jason is not like taking off. He's still in the same town. They've already had this kind of dynamic already when they had to be separated because Sam was on probation. So Danny already knows what that is like to have parents that are living separately and you spend time with each of them. So for Jason to be like, oh, I don't want, Danny to think that I've abandoned him. And how's he going to you've already done this before.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So what's it going to be like this again?
I at least like that Jason acknowledged the fact that he never wanted kids. And like with Jake, it was something that wasn't like an accident. I mean, the condom broke. It was, and Lucky raised Jake and now Franco. It was never that Jason was going to be Jake's parent. There was that brief time that they gave you liaison fans, just, a little throwing you a bone there. But yeah, that's about as much count as Jacob Young is Lucky. Guys, Jason is who Jason is. And I like that we finally had him give his point of view on that. But he's like, and he goes, and it's not that I would ever say I don't want Danny and Danny is here, but that was, and again, guys, there's the receipts. We can look them up. He always said he didn't want kids because of the life that he saw for Michael and Morgan. Right. And Sam talked him into Danny. And let's face it, Sam was one of those women that says she wants kids, but really was never going to be that mom until now. And as she was with Patrick and Drew. I mean, and it was one of those things that she's the childless adventurer. That was her thing. And it really, yes, we had the baby Lila or whatever. Right. That's how her and Jason. And I feel like that's what she desperately clung to. And again, sorry, Sam was a desperate character and always to a degree. And that's sort of why she wanted kids. And I don't like that we haven't gotten that much of Sam's point of view in that aspect, that it's like you wanted this life with Jason, but he didn't want that. And he was pretty clear. And you didn't really want it the way that you couldn't have it the way you wanted it. Let's face it, that was never going to happen. And at least we're getting some of this from her where it's like, yeah, I wanted something that didn't really exist. And you kind of push. I mean, again, Jason's a big boy. He made his own decisions there with Danny, but that was something that was always apparent in Jason's character, that he was never going to do this. And she just finally realized that. I mean, took her long enough.
Mm-hmm. I know. I just think it's long overdue. I think it's time. I feel like there's chemistry between Jason and Brett. I feel like that's there. Sam be single for a while. Originally I thought it was Sam and Brandon. I really thought it was going to be those two, which could still happen. But I always thought there was chemistry between those two.
Or maybe Sam has chemistry with somewhere else.
Like in a different town.
Yeah.
Oh dang, you guys are like, I'm like, yes, chemistry as Lindsay Hartley. No,
Well, yeah, because a lot of the people with the Sam and Dante stuff, it's like y'all are sick. Like the What If episode was fun with them, but she's been with his dad. It's like,
friend.
guys. I mean, and two, Dante just is a single dad. He's got a lot of stuff going on. Why does he need to be paired with Sam? Why does he need that crazy in his life? Like, this is not cool. And to me, even Sam, that woman has been with everyone that is not related to her. She needs to be single for a while. She needs a little eat, pray, love trip.
I think that everybody wants Drew back. I think it's the missing piece in all this.
Well, we want that, but is that going to happen?
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I would love Drew back too, but I don't live in a fantasy world.
Yes. And then the other storyline that we haven't touched yet is the setting up of Alexis. Tracy is home.
I love this.
Tracy is home and she's going to take care of it, she claims. But Olivia is going to be her best buddy and try to get her to talk about her feelings.
I'm curious to see where the storyline goes, and it's great if you're gonna have Tracy come in. Then yes, let's ever get up to some classic Quartermain shenanigans. Great. I just need something to happen with Alexis because where they beat this into the ground with Alexis. So let's get to the next beat of whatever this is gonna be. I mean, are you gonna reveal anything about the true nature of how Neil died or what? Whatever you do, is Alexis gonna go back to rehab or I don't know.
I just feel like the Drew thing is funny because it keeps getting mentioned.
Yeah.
So we're being reminded what a big hole is like kind of there because with the Jason Franco thing, Drew should be there. He should be part of that. And he's also
Drew forever.
Drew forever. It's like they recast him. Yeah, recast him. Billy Miller can't do it. Recast him. Why not? Cast him with somebody.
We could beat the only person that I would accept in that is Trevor St. John. Because the whole point of Drew coming back, I know you Sam fans, you want her to have a happy ending with Drew, but let's face it, I don't care about that. All I care about is Brew, Franco, and Drew and their brotherly bond. And that's why it would be fun if it was Trevor St. John. And yeah, I love Billy too, but I mean, let's face it, guys. Do they have the budget for that? Does he want to come back? I mean, there's just too many factors there to be honest. Like, I don't see Billy coming back unless there's a big change of heart. But to me, if they had that in the budget, Emmy would still be here. But
people are saying, well, they're mentioning Morgan a lot too, but I don't think Morgan's
please no. Let Morgan stay dead. But I love this Tracy Alexis stuff. I was laughing all the way because they're friends in real life too. So I think that made it funnier. Because I mean, Tracy's trying to protect Ned, and it's sweet, and that's her very Tracy way of doing things, and we're at least getting something from her. And too, like, Olivia, like, is just the saint of Port Charles, right, guys? Like, she's just better than everyone. That's why I love her and Ned, but like, maybe let her at least kiss Robert first. I mean, once she finds out.
It is interesting because I appreciate Monica and Tracy kind of breaking down Olivia. And how they appreciate Olivia for respecting the loyalty of the Quartermain family, and she gets it with that. But that Olivia in herself also expects loyalty in return, and that's where all this stuff starts spiraling out of control.
Yeah, I know, but it's so funny to see women of a certain age being snipey and catty and funny, and then when they're driving, and she basically set up Alexis, basically.
I love it.
I was like, and she tell Olivia, well, I got to do what I got to do. But she is trying, but this whole thing, the Olivia Ned things the Lexus Ned things are going to come out. It's going to come out, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, because I feel like the plan is to get her for drunk driving and get a DUI. I don't know necessarily how that stops her from ever saying anything to Olivia.
I know. I don't either.
Yeah.
But it's Tracy. So when her and Monica were talking, it's got out of Monica. It's hilarious to me. So I mean, I'll let you do what she wants.
It's fine.
implausible? Sure. Will it make any sense? I don't care. It's Jane Elliott as Tracy Quartermain. I'll take whatever they give me with her. I'm like, sure. It's implausible or whatever. It makes no sense, but
It's fun.
okay. It's fun.
Yeah.
It was until I saw the previews for tomorrow's episode.
Uh-oh.
When Tracy gets out of that car, I was like, is she gonna just try to like get that car to go over the side of a cliff? I thought it was gonna be a big kill job.
That would be hilarious.
No, trying to get
Like,
No. It said Billy sold his house in Hollywood Hills.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
So is he off?
But
does Trevor live in Los Angeles?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't keep tabs on him, but I know that he's really good friends with Michael Easton.
You don't know that? You don't know if he lives in LA. Come on.
No.
Okay.
As much as I would like to have Drew back on the show, and I agree with Lacretia, it's not a Sam thing. It is more for Franco and even the dynamic between him and Jason.
Yeah.
Which I thought was never fully explored when they first on the show.
They're twins.
Yeah. And the way that both of them have a different relationship with Franco and how that, I mean, there's a lot between those three characters that I think it would be fun to figure out. But like the same stuff, I am like, what's the point of keeping her around?
Exactly. I mean, not to be a petty Betty, but I am.
It's like I feel like this is a character that definitely could be put on the shelf for a while. Not saying you can't bring her back in like 6 months or a year, recast or not, but just that will gives you time to figure out where she can best fit into a story, and come back with either a crucial piece of information or a secret agenda that at least would make that character a little bit more fun to watch when she came back.
Again, I'm all about Lizzie Hartley.
Yeah, she was good.
I was like, maybe bring her on, maybe that'll change things. I mean, I saw some chemistry between her and the guy who plays Brando, so I was like,
oh yeah,
there's some stuff, there's some possibilities on this show,
But I also
age appropriate.
Yeah, I need this to be a decision that the show really sticks its guns to, because I feel like that's an absolutely valid concern that Sam has. I'm not going to but that's something that you really can't backpedal on either, and have Sam go, oh well, I was wrong, Jason. I think we can make this work. No.
Yeah. No.
Well, it's not. You can never really backpedal from that decision, Sam. You got. I mean, and that's a valid decision, but you got to stick with it.
I agree. I totally agree.
Nope.
Yeah. And people in chat really all kind of Trevor St. John. I know. I don't know. I mean, look him up, somebody. Look him up and tell us what's going on. That was Port Charles. That was Charles. What do you got to say, Frank?
I was going to say, it just, because I know that J-Sam fans were excited when Steve Burton was coming back. It's like, this is it, baby. We're going to get the real J-Sam, and it's all going to happen. And it never really did. What was the last, really successful romance that GH has really built up and executed well?
Franco and Liz. I mean, I will say, Chase and Willow were actually kind of cute. As far as that's would have maybe been later, but then, and same thing with Ned and Olivia. You have some of these that have been around but as I'll say, both Franco and Liz and Ned and Olivia have been around for a while. And while I think Chase and Willow were kind of cute, and that was always a nice little thing to have, I don't think that, I mean, we got to spread Chase around the canvas. It's just, no.
Spread around the canvas.
And you forgot, and we forgot about Nicholas and Ava.
I was saying, I love that. I love those scenes. I love that they ripped up the post-nuptial. They was thinking we're going to be together. I mean.
And then him with the pillow there with Ryan. I'm sorry. As much as I love Valentine, guys, Nicholas is really showing he's the prince that we always remember, the good parts of Nicholas. And I really like Marcus. He definitely should stick around because he brings a softness and he has chemistry with Maura, and I really like it. I think it works. And again, they've got that kinky side, but then the sweet side. And the sweet side is often almost evil, but it works. Oh, let's smother him with a pillow. Oh, hey. And I kind of love that Felix so knew what they were doing and was just he killed Kiki, fuck him.
No, he did. He did. Yeah. He was yeah, okay. Okay. No, I like that they work together, that they're finally, they're doing what they had. Frank, you asked for this weeks ago.
Yes.
Give a direction. You said, what, just should I get off the pot, right? So they decided, we're going to let them be a couple now. So now we can see them unite together against a common enemy. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Right, Frank?
I completely agree with that, and I'm curious if how Ryan's going to play into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And this one, I love me some John Lindstrom.
Oh, me too. Me too.
And that's why I love having the dual role of Kevin and Ryan. And this will be fun because he works so well with Mora, and we've not really seen him with Marcus. So let's see how that goes, because we do have a princely Nicholas now, and it's fun. Like, yeah, I was like, why am I not thinking about my other favorite couple, Nicholas and Ava? Yeah, they've really become the couple of the show.
I agree. And I thought about Franks, and they chose direction. They chose direction. So now we're gonna go with it. So let's see how far they take it. I kind of like them together because they both are damaged on some level. So I mean, it kind of works.
And this is like an example where, in terms of like, you come to the big climax of a storyline, like the Ryan and Kevin storyline, and you feel like, oh well, okay, Ryan's got to get killed. But this is the benefit of like, no, we're gonna still keep him around, guys, because we think there's some cool little bits of story nuggets we can get out of him, and this is a good example of it.
Because he's obsessed with Ava. So I mean, you know, like Nicholas is keeping, he's like, who's Nicholas to him? You don't care. He's crazy. But Nicholas is a Cassadine and does have a dark side. So it's going to be see what, and Ava does too, obviously.
Yeah, because they will kill for each other.
So it's kind of like, that's why I like this kid. These characters can go anywhere because they can go anywhere. So that's the great thing about the characters, and why it's going to be exciting to see what they, and people are saying in chat room, will Ava sabotage her marriage and her happiness? That's her MO also. So that could be fun to watch too, to see her not sabotage it. She kind of like maybe fight against it. That'd be good.
Well, because I don't know, James got big things happening, so we got to let him go. But the last thing with the Ryan storyline is that the last thing with Ryan and Ava, like I felt like he kind of broke with Ava when she betrayed him with that fake divorce papers that he tried to pass him, because he flipped out on that. So I'm wondering how he's going to approach Ava. Is this Ava somebody that he just wants to kill right now, or does he still have that soft spot for her?
Yeah, folks are saying, did Nicholas divorce Hayden?
I'm guessing. I mean, he had to in order to marry Ava.
And
I think there was even a little bit of them doing that.
Yeah.
And because they really botched her return. Like, again, there was too much going on. But yeah, I think there was maybe like a one-off scene of them, dissolving that. Because again, he couldn't have married Ava. And he sent Hayden off. Like, he threatened her, so.
And somebody thinks that Jack's still in love with Carly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I feel like, no, that storyline, that's great if he is, for like character, I suppose, but I don't want to see, you've done too much with Carly and Sonny.
She got to stay with Sonny.
Again, they're like the matriarch and patriarch of the show in a way.
I love that Eden McCoy, who plays Joss, did a whole homage.
Yes, the moss. That was cute.
That's hilarious. It should get its own, storyline. The big bowl of moss in the kitchen. I think it's huge. I was like, that thing is huge. Can Ryan kill anybody who was stabbed in the back? I know Ryan. He's the Energizer Bunny. He just keeps taking a lick and he keeps on taking. I'm like using metaphors, but he's just like, you're working out.
We were briefly about the just how good was it to see Franco and Liesl at least?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I like that she was like, no, you need to help him. Like, and he's my dearest friend. I like that they sort of glossed over the fact that he did sort of question. He's like, oh, okay. Like, that was a nice sort of makeup. And I love Scotty, like, accidentally killing Dr. Kirk.
I know, Dr.
Scotty.
Dr. Rapey.
Yeah.
It was just like, he wanted some sex, and she was like, that was not good. He was like, ugh, like, good night. Like, good night. And he was like, just
mad respect, Dr. O.
Exactly.
But I don't know why because I'm curious, because that character was like Dante's handler. So, what was the point of, I don't know. I'm curious why the show wanted to ramp him to Crazy Town and then kill him off.
Yeah.
It still felt like he had a role to serve.
Yeah, because especially with the clicky pin and with Dante, it's like, where are we going there? Because now it's like Dante doesn't have a handler. So is he really going to go off the rails?
Unless Liesl becomes the handler.
Oh, yeah, that'll be fun.
Maybe that's the point. Give it to him.
Yeah.
Have Liesl in charge of that pin. So if somebody doing this, let me do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be Liesl.
I am glad though, because usually it seems like with the soap opera veterans, you give them a bone. We're like, okay, we're gonna have him go with Franco to Sweden, so that's great. We're giving Kins Reiner some screen time. But when he's about to get shuttled into the elevator and taken out, I'm like, all right, so like he doesn't get to be part of any like the cool stuff. So so he had the quickest turnaround, and then
he was like, all right, they think I'm leaving.
Back up, but I'm glad that he did, so we could get all that stuff with Liesel. And Scotty at the end, when the doctor's got the knife in him to the hilt, says, "Wait, he's not dead, right? Because the knife, it's into the hilt, Scotty. That's not. It is not good."
No, I actually kind of like Dr. O and Scotty together. They should like stick with that, even if they're just friends. That was a funny.
I agree with that too.
Yeah,
I liked that also. I did like that also. I wouldn't mind them getting together. Kind of funny.
Oh, what?
Like an accidental romp. Like they get drunk one day and they accidentally get together. I mean, like
I can see it.
Oh my God! Worst couple people got together. I think why not? Like why not? They're all Dr. O knows how to control Dante. So yeah, she can tell you good.
You're not man enough for me.
And I'm like, oh, that doctor was crazy. I was like, okay, girl. She was like, oh, like really? I'm gonna have sex all of a sudden. So I got to save my friend. It was crazy. I wish you told Scott, don't worry about it. I'll explain everything to you. But I was in this house framed. I'll explain everything to you. But he comes in and saves the day.
It's also so weird because he says, I've got to borrow Liesel for a moment, leaving Franco and Scotty just outside the office. And then tries to do this to Lee's like, hey, creeper, what's going on, dude?
How long did you think it was going to take? It's like, all right, or that people wouldn't know. It's like, all right, I gotta, have sex in my office real quick.
They're all Scotty Skobrecht, or Obrati.
Oh, I like it.
Yes.
But it was nice to see Scotty be on the winning side of a fight for once, because so often he's like a chump.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Scotty's no chump.
He's no chump. And that's where we'll end it because I got another show to do after this too. So kids, let's keep the machine moving. Keep the machine moving.
Exactly, man. Talking content creators, man.
We are talking content creation. Why we do this shit every day for you people. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been in the chat room. We had up to 43 people. Thank you, everybody. For coming in and watching us talk about this crazy show on ABC, General Hospital. Frank, tell me they can find you if they want to find out some more stuff about what's going on with you.
Yeah, nobody does, but I'll still say it anyway. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie. A tremendous place.
Lacretia, you don't have to, guys. You don't have to, but you should. Frank, Lacretia, you know what to do. Do your thing.
Since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LacretiaLyon anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
Only one, bitches. And you follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. sold at James Lott Jr. and also platforms. We are on GH Report, just here, the wrong place. Spotlight on Facebook. Go ahead and follow us there. JLJ Media everywhere. Tomorrow, episode 3 of my series, Mr. Road, is out. Tomorrow, my audio series. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of it. And on Friday, Lacretia, I think you're in the episode, Lacretia's episode for Forever and a Day. My other audio series will be out on Friday. So we're doing audio dramas here on JLJ Media. So Mr. Road tomorrow, new episode, Christmas episode on Friday, and then next Tuesday, the premiere of Claus the series. Yes, Santa Claus gets a series, and it's made dramatic. So that'll be out next Tuesday. So we got all kinds of goodness coming up in the whole new year too. We'll be back next week, folks. We'll be back next week. Share this to everybody. Hello, GH Facebook groups. Love you guys.